紹介がまだだったな。第三の神の鍵、採血の鍵、錠剤七来。
And here we are, a divine key. And not to worry, we are getting it in the form of a sword because at the end of this sequence, Raven lets May touch her gun and it changes forms, but we don't get to see it until chapter 29 when Vilvi, the maker of the divine keys, shows it to us. And of course, it's going to be a weapon for the Hasha Thunder, and people are wondering whether or not it's going to be worth their crystals. The short answer, yes. There you go, bye, end of video. But okay, there are a multitude of reasons why this weapon would be useful for any captains, whether you're in the early, mid, or end game. So first we're going to look at how it'll work on the Hasha Thunder. When reading their descriptions, I noticed the weapon active on the 7 Thunders of Retribution does less damage. The difference between the two when unsupported is about a 50% increase on the Domain of Sanction side. When supported, however, the 7 Thunders is still lower, but only by about 10%. The tests were done with an S1 Hasha Thunder and full Benares set. Mainly, the only time this is most applicable is in situations like the double S Hephaestus 0-second run, where with the Domain of Sanction, I got the run in 3 attempts, but with the 7 Thunders of Retribution, 47 runs later and 10% of my hair gone, I decided I couldn't do it. Now, I might just be too slow, but in this fight, despite the 7 Thunders of Retribution's passive ability to deal more damage against enemies that are type disadvantaged to the wielder, it still couldn't really make the cut. I guess without the passive ability to allow the weapon active skill to directly connect to the Shinzan strike, in situations like these, the Domain of Sanction will always come out on top in terms of speed and damage. This, however, is the only one advantage the Domain of Sanction has over the 7 Thunders of Retribution and will pretty much be only experienced by the endgame players. Moving on, the ultimate. This is where the 7 Thunders of Retribution changes the battle suit almost as much as an augmentation would. For the Domain of Sanction, we do a full Dragon Breath, basic attack sequence, and then Dragon Breath again before switching out. This will allow the supports to have a full rotation before switching back in for a QTE finisher. With the 7 Thunders, however, we get to do a complete rotation instead of something like that 1.5 rotation. This also gives us the freedom of throwing in one more Dragon Breath phase before the finisher. Being able to end with the finisher also increases the team's overall damage output when running the new meta of equipping the Hasha Thunder with Handle, and Golden Diva with Fuhua Margrave instead. Since she can reactivate the entire set's buff before leaving the field, the supports will also be able to deal some form of damage. So aside from the on-field applications being a divine key, it also provides all battlesuits with the passive permanent bonus of plus 10 attack. If you're a new player, you might think this is a really small bonus, but with the addition of the 7 Thunders of Retribution, we now have 8 Divine Keys, which means we have plus 80 attack. In total, there will be 13 Divine Keys, which means it will total to 130, and the longer you wait to start your Divine Key collection, the longer you're going to wait for that passive attack bonus. It is huge in the long run. 130 attack is like a 3-star weapon, so it almost feels like you're holding 2 3-star weapons, which is pretty insane, I would say. In terms of usefulness at different levels of play, for newer players who do not have the Key of Castigation but do have the Hasha Thunder, getting this one weapon, then setting a course to farm Handle will easily provide you with a strong DPS to lean on. For newer players who do have the Key of Castigation, you can now pass it to Darkbolt Jonin and have yourself a merry little bio DPS. Even though this probably only applies to the Memorial Arena, it helps to be able to use every piece of equipment that you own when you're still new and building up the account. This can pretty much apply to mid-game players as well, in terms of getting your money's worth of the weapon and long-term account building. And finally, if you're wondering how it'll work when you are getting to the end game, well, newer battlesuits usually have signature boss fights in the Abyss and the Arena, and they don't just come out in like one wave when the thing is just released. They do repeat over time, and it's good to have a solution for those bosses when they come back, even many updates in the future. As seen with the Abyss Flower, sometimes it's up to the weapon to make a specific team setup viable due to the switch up in rotation. And so here we are. I did this video because of the amount of people asking me on Twitch when I stream there, and I hope this helps in some way or the other. It's not like super detailed on the extreme end, but I'm hoping it gives players, especially the new ones getting a grasp on how the game works, an outline on how this weapon can affect the game. And probably if you look at other additions to the game in the same lens, you could make a more informed decision when it comes to newer additions to the game. Of course, I will try to be making videos like that, but usually I kind of depend on the community to let me know. When the 7 Thunders of Retribution got announced in the CN beta, people did start coming in to ask whether or not they should pull for it, but I didn't really have the time to look at it back then. But I'm thankful that I have the time to sit down with it in the EN beta, and yeah, it's actually really powerful, so I do think people should pull for it. Okay, so I was only aware of this after I was done with the vid, which means the EN beta has also closed, so I can't do it on my own. I'm gonna have to use the footage of this CN player on Bilibili. It's a different approach to the 0-second Hephaestus run that utilizes the timer stop ability of the 7 Thunders of Retribution, but uses a double S2 Hasha of Thunder. The plus side is he's only using a fully equipped Fallen Rosemary for damage support, and a completely empty Hasha of Sentience for her evasion skill. So if the Hasha of Sentience is fully equipped, it could possibly be done by captains with lower ranking Hashas of Thunder. So again, I hope this was helpful in some way, and I'd like to add that I do stream my Abyss and Memorial Arena runs mostly on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Twitch, so if you want to check out what level of a player you're listening to, do pop by and hang out sometime, I guess. But anyway, this has been MG, and I will see you guys soon. Bye bye.